Hi, this is Danae, and today's video is all about relearning old repertoire.
I just want to pause the video real quick because I'm editing it right now, and I want to let you know that I recorded this literally minutes before going on stage for a piano recital. You can see me here in my dressing room actually, and the video is a little bit all over the place because I was a tiny bit stressed about getting it ready in time before the presenter knocked on my dressing room to tell me to go on stage. So there are a few things missing, and also I did the final part because I didn't get to finish after the concert, so you'll see the end. I look slightly sweaty. That's because I just came off stage. So I thought that I would just pause it a couple of times and fill in some blanks and some points that I missed that I still think are important to keep in this video. So just to let you know, there are going to be some interruptions.
When I say old repertoire, I'm talking about pieces that you've already looked at, maybe played on stage, but also pieces that you've just kind of skimmed over, studied for a bit, maybe sight read a couple of times, and are now looking to relearn them, repeat them, or intensify them in order to be able to perform them. I find that it is a very special skill to be able to very effectively relearn old repertoire without falling into certain traps and into certain mistakes that you may have been already doing in the past. So if you're interested in hearing my method of how I relearn old repertoire, then keep on watching. So the very first thing that I do when I relearn old repertoire is I play through the piece slowly. If you've been watching me for a while, you know that I'm a big fan of practicing slowly. I've made an entire video on that. If you want, you can check it out. I'll leave the link down in the description box. But I love practicing slowly. I think it is incredibly valuable and important. And relearning old repertoire definitely helps if you just go through the piece slowly. You really figure out where all the fingers have to go. You also see how familiar or unfamiliar the piece feels for you right now. If you haven't played it for, 10-15 years, it's going to feel a little bit awkward, but I promise you, after that first slow run through, you're going to feel so much more in it, and the second run through is already going to feel like a whole different world. What I like to do after that is I like to kind of see where I'm at. So I kind of go to all the hard passages, especially if it is a piece that I've already performed and that I know was at a high level at some point. I like to go back to all those hard passages, play through them, see how they feel, see how far away this high performance level is for me right now. So I kind of assess the situation and check out for myself how many days or how many weeks I'm going to need in order to get that piece up to speed, and then I kind of make my practice plan. Once I figured out what the hard spots are, I really focus on those. Now, the hard spots, I mean the hard spots for you, the ones that just don't feel as familiar as they used to, or the ones where you feel like you really need to still improve them. So I practice those spots specifically a lot and make sure that all those hard passages really are working out well for me. What I think is one of the biggest mistakes that you can make when practicing an old piece or relearning a piece that you've already played, especially if you've also played it on stage, is to kind of fall into the same patterns that you had when you were playing it. Keep in mind, you are a different person today. You are probably someone with more knowledge about piano, about music, with more experience. Just because you played something a certain way back then doesn't mean you have to play it that same way right now. So try to really rediscover the piece. This is something that has helped me so much. And I've managed to improve pieces that I've been playing throughout the years by really keeping an open mind every time I practice them. I try to approach them the same way I would approach a new piece. I try to rediscover the musical phrases. Maybe I also change the interpretation up a little bit because I feel at this point in my life that I want to play it this way. I really make sure not to just repeat mindlessly what I was doing before. Of course, if I still think it's a great idea, of course I will repeat it, but I really make sure to double check and go in depth and ask myself, do I really still want to do this?
So this is where I forgot to mention one very important point that is very connected to this, which is that I find that when you do relearn an old piece, it really helps to study away from the piano and only with the score. Since it is a piece where you already once learned all the hard technical stuff, and it is a piece where you know that you are able to play it, or at least you were able at some point, so it means that you will very quickly be able to again. It helps to just kind of take a step back, create a little bit of a distance between the movement of the fingers and your playing, and to start to focus only on the mental stuff. That way, if you study the score only and erase all the automatic muscle movements that have been saved in your brain and that are translating into your fingers, you can actually refocus on what is written in the score. And often there is a situation where, for example, the score says piano and you are actually doing a mezzo forte because it is just something that you got used to, and this is your chance to really relearn it the right way. So I would definitely recommend to only study with the score a little bit when you are relearning old repertoire, and to really use mental practice as a way to reapproach the piece in an even better way than you did before.
Another thing I like to do when practicing old repertoire is go back to the basics. So really approach it as if it were a new piece, feel like it's kind of a clean slate, which also means that if you had certain hard passages that kind of were passages you were a little bit nervous about or afraid about, this is your chance to make those passages that you're not afraid of, because you can relearn them, re-practice them in a different way, and kind of get away from those old fears that you had. So generally, make sure to give that old piece a new chance and see it as a new piece. I think that you can learn a lot from it, and I think that revisiting old repertoire can be very helpful for your general musical development. I have learned a lot from revisiting old pieces, and I really like doing so. I think it is a very special feeling when you play a piece that you've played a lot again a couple of years later. And what I love the most is listening to CD recordings of famous pianists that have recorded the same piece twice, but with maybe some decades in between, and to listen to how much that piece has changed. I think that is something extremely interesting and something that we can learn a lot from, of how differently they then view the piece from that perspective.
As you can probably very easily see, this is me post-concert, slightly red in the face because I literally just came off stage. I'm sorry and I apologize that this video is a little bit all over the place, but this was the only time I had last week to record a video right before and after the concert. So I'm sorry, and I hope that you didn't mind the interruptions too much.
I really hope that you enjoyed this video. It was a short one today, but I just thought that this was an important thought to share since I'm right now looking at some older repertoire and I'm going through this myself. I hope that you found it interesting, and I'll see you again in the next one. Bye!